What do you get when you take some therapists and put them in front of a screen to watch something creeping back from childhood that should have never been for children or preteens? They're gonna dive right in and reassess those flicks. What's more scary and disturbing than you realize and gave you nervous tics? They're the movies that traumatized us.
I hope you guys are having a great night tonight. I'm gonna kill my audio, and I noticed
everyone.
I'm Sarah, obviously, and
well, I'm therapist Nikki. And
so,
welcome to the movies that traumatized us.
Yes, tonight we're presenting The Last Unicorn. Ooh, ah, oh, eh. So tonight is The Last Unicorn. I don't know how. Do you guys? Yeah, new stuff. There's lots of new stuff. You guys like our new layout? It's fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo. Fancy stuff.
Right? Always fancy stuff. Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys out there watched The Last Unicorn before tonight's presentation. We took this one straight out of the suggestion box from Akuma Reviews. It was dropped in suggestion to do The Last Unicorn, and we figured since it's February, it's Valentine's kind of time of year, I guess if you believe in that, you regret everything. I understand. I was watching some clips, to be entirely honest with you, Akuma. I was watching some clips just before we went live. We were talking about it, and I found a whole new level of regret that I cannot unsee, that I will be bringing to everybody's attention when we get there. just gonna throw that out there right now. You guys should be prepared.
Unicorn can now regret.
Yes. So there's plenty of things. There's plenty of things from this movie that we definitely regret, and there are plenty of things from this movie that I don't think I originally thought of as being very traumatizing. And now that I'm looking at them, I'm like, oh my god.
Right? All the things.
Sorry.
Fair warning, this is a mature stream. We are both licensed mental health counselors and sex therapists. So you're going to hear cussing and words like penis, vagina, all the things.
Yeah, all the things. Right yeah, might as well just get that out there right now, because we're definitely unfiltered. And I'm good with unfiltered. I like unfiltered. So without further ado, shall we dive right in? I mean, yes, Chillquill, thumbs up on that one. I agree with you. I think we'll dive right in. I'm gonna be a little sad if this keeps up and we can't get audio.
Right. That'll be like the last time when we couldn't get audio.
Right? So, like, what's part of this scene do I want to run here? I think I'll run this piece right here. I am so sorry, you guys. It's all the traumas from this movie. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can hear it, though.
I mislike the feel of these woods. Creatures that live in a unicorn's forest learn a little magic of their own in time. Mainly concerned with
awesome, thanks,
disappearing.
Geek Therapeutics.
Unicorns?
Yeah, we can hear.
I thought
awesome.
they only existed in fairy tales. This is a
The hunters going into the forest.
like any other, isn't it?
And why do the leaves never fall here? Or the snow? Why is it always spring here? I tell you, there is one unicorn left in the world. And as long as it lives in this forest, we'll find no game to hunt here.
Let's turn around. Hunt somewhere else.
All right.
Am I really the last?
Stay where you are, poor beast. This is no world for you. Stay in your forest.
The
and
stroke
keep
of a
your
movie.
trees
Yes,
green,
Alisor, this
and your
movie is very
friends
much a
protected.
stroke waiting to happen.
And good luck to you, for you are the last.
I played a bit more of this than I had originally intended, but...
Right, you played like the whole opening thing.
No, I skipped a lot of it.
Oh, did you?
I did, I skipped a lot of it.
Now you have her going, can I be the last? Can I really be the
last? You know... yes, you really are the last. Just looking at the screen terrified. Well, our little peoples are fucking terrified, let's be honest. This shit is enough to give you nightmares for the rest of your life when you start to really get into it too deeply. It's just, oh, did I really just go there after everything I just talked about? Getting in deep. Balls deep. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But you know, so one of the things I do want to point out, because we did this with the last, or not the last unicorn. Wow. We did this with the Neverending Story. When we got to the end, we talked about how the movie aged. This movie did not age well.
The story aged well.
The story, yes. The movie, not so much. Not so much at all. But the animation is beautiful in this movie.
Yeah.
No matter, even now, the animation in this movie is spectacular. And despite all of this movie's other flaws and problems, we really can't get away from the level that the animation is in this movie. And there are reasons for that. And, I'll let you say that big mouthful. I don't even want to try and say that again.
So, we're going to go with the history of the animation of The Last Unicorn. You saw how it opened up to this beautiful watercolor scene, everything. So, Wikipedia describes this as an American-British-Japanese animated fantasy. And there's a reason for that. For one, the author, Peter Beagle, who also wrote the screenplay, is British. The producers, Rankin and Bass Productions, are American, and the animation is out of Japan. It is done from Top Craft, and a lot of their animators, I'm going to screw up these names, and I am so sorry for all these people. They're from Tokyo, Japan. The top animator was the former head of Toyo Animation, Horohara. But if you look at all of the animation, you'll see you'll see a lot of the anime qualities that we love about anime, and the eyes and the way that it flows. So you can tell it is not American animated.
Yeah, it was one of the things we talked about, is how a lot of the sketch lines that you see in American animation from the same time period are missing. Like, there's so much more smoothness in the way this animation is done. And just from that aspect. And of course, it coming from a Japanese animation studio, I'm kind of not surprised, but maybe that's just because I spend too much time in anime as it is, but, hard to say. So, this is our opening sequence, and here's, our main protagonist, finding out that they're sort of the last of their kind, and she's got that real deep sense of, this is a theme I'm noticing just now, even though this is our second movie. She's got that deep sense of loss right at the opening.
Is it loss, or is it like denial? Like, am I really the last? What? I've been in this forest for so long.
It's a little bit of both, though, right? Because you can hear in her voice, like, that sort of incredulous, I can't possibly be the last. But then at the same time, you can also hear that underlying sadness that's there as well, like that, am I really the last? No, that can't be so. And she does go through, we see this throughout the film, she does go through this kind of, how long did she go believe? Well, yeah, exactly. Because prior to this, she didn't know she was the last. Prior to her being told this by some random hunter in the forest, she had no idea. She just thought
she was to live in the lilac forest and just chill with her animal friends.
Right. She was completely content and unawares and oblivious to the world around her up until this moment in time when she finds this out. And so, that's where the little bit of loss and sadness in her tone of voice comes from, but also the incredulousness of the idea that she couldn't possibly be the last. Well, so the Allosaur points this out. Clips of like groups of unicorns together, but she didn't think it was weird that she hadn't seen any of the others in what kind of seemed like a long time. But you know what? Let's talk about that, because Amalthea is kind of clueless.
Yes.
I
very
mean,
much so.
she's
clueless, very arrogant.
yeah, she is. She's clueless. She's arrogant. She's very, I don't want to say she's self-centered, but she just doesn't think beyond herself until, like, really towards the very end of the movie, if we're going to be honest. Like, the whole rest of the movie, like, even when she's thinking about the harpy, she's not really thinking about the harpy. We'll get there. But, you know, she's not. She's...
We'll look for the other boobs.
Yes, boobs. The chill quote kind of reminds me of hearing the loss of a distant relative you didn't know about. You feel sad, but you also wonder how you would have felt if you hadn't known, and then guilt follows. Yes, Chilquill, I agree with that sentiment 100%. She really has that. And as soon as she feels like she realizes she's the last, she sets out on this quest, right? This is her moment, right, where she sets out on this quest to find out if she truly is the last. And as she progresses through her story, she feels more and more guilt about being the last, especially when she finds out later that all of the other unicorns were rounded up by this beautiful, fantastic creature. I think I have a picture of here somewhere. Give me a second, and you know, I will pop that up. This dude right here, all rounded up by the Red Bull. And when she learns of this, she actually does feel guilty. You can kind of see it in her actions, the way she starts to behave. She even lashes out a bit, becomes angry at the people around her, even the ones who are trying to help her, like Schmendrick. Schmendrick.
Oh, Smendrick. That's a whole nother kettle of fish with Smendrick. And the movie doesn't really... I mean, the movie does tell a story, but it doesn't tell the whole story because there are a lot of choppy places. And Smendrick is one of them. One of those choppy places.
Akuma, you know, reminding us that Flutterby McCracker Flapper is the only reason this started. So you're right.
No, not true. Hunter's the reason why it started. He was the call to adventure.
Hunter is the call to adventure. But forcing her into the quest, on the other hand, the person who really, like, kind of makes her feel guilty about being the last is this beautiful piece of work right here. This genuine, this genuine psychopathic butterfly. Do we have that clip? Oh, yeah, we do have that clip. We do have that clip. We do.
If you're wondering if the dialogue in the movie is like in the book, yes, because Peter Beagle wrote it. He almost took word for word what the character said and put that in the screenplay.
Am I true?
Oh, wow.
Even the butterfly rant.
Yeah, so the butterfly rant, he gave you Alice in Wonderland vibes, Alisor. I agree. He really has the caterpillars vibe in that sense.
If the caterpillar grew up and took a lot of mushrooms and acid.
Yeah.
Clay lies still, but blood's a rover. Red Rover, let Charlie come over. Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home, my wild Irish rose?
Why?
Be a little respectful, Butterfly. Do you know who I am?
What? What is the purpose of this piece of music? I don't understand.
Because she goes to explain butterflies only repeat what they've heard in stories and songs and poetry. So that's how he's trying to communicate.
Oh, is that what the purpose there is supposed to be? I've got like this story here if everybody's wondering what I'm doing. It's like it just keeps getting in the way. So I have this, I kind of fast forwarded this clip. The creepy old magic man in the park. What is your wisdom? Yes, the Chilquill. That is a very, very accurate descriptor. So I skipped ahead a bit here.
Gotcha.
I should know better than to expect a silly butterfly to know my name.
1, 2, 3, O'Larry.
Butterfly, in all your wanderings, have you seen others like me? Have you seen even one?
Oh, have you seen the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man?
The one who lives on Drury Lane?
Oh my god, the Muffin Man.
Yes, the Muffin Man!
Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? We're gonna go to Shrek.
I mean...
Monster.
Not the gumdrop buttons!
Oh, not the buttons! Gumdrop!
Cross movies. It's fun. So, the butterfly is just kind of neurotic. I mean, okay, so it makes more sense knowing that, right, he only can repeat what he's heard. That's the only way he can communicate, is to talk in these kind of this lyrical prose, right, where he tries to get out what he's heard and explain to her that what he knows. But following on what Akuma's original statement here is McCracker Flapper, yeah, he... whew, I don't have much else to say about him beyond that. I don't know if you have an in-depth analysis that you want to give on our crazy butterfly friend, but...
No, the way that this movie is laid out, it has a lot of, like, snapshots of talking animals that seem very disjointed in this universe. I mean, later on we'll see the pirate cat and some other things.
Darr!
Like, what? I don't know what you were thinking, Mr. Beagle, but it's entertaining. I mean, we had Morla the Ancient One on drugs last time, so now we have Mick Flapper, Crackjack, Butterfly.
No, it's Mick Crack Flapper.
Or Mick. Oh, my
Mick
bad.
Crack Flapper. That's
Flutterby.
a tribute. Yeah, yes. Flutter by Mick Crack Flapper. I really like this name. I think this is an aptly chosen name by Akuma here. I'm not gonna lie.
Then from there, after the butterfly does his whole, like, let's ride the A train. Allosaur, we got the pirate cat straight up had to fucking pause and make sure we were not having a fever dream. Yep. Yeah.
But the cat is I'm not gonna lie. The cat's probably one of my favorite pieces. He's a little Cheshire. He's a little pirate. He's kind of awesome in terms of all of the other things that happen in this movie. The cat is the least of the problems. I mean, we're not even talking about this talking head skeleton. Okay.
No, okay. No, we can't jump ahead to skeleton.
No. No, let's not jump ahead. I agree. So yay. The cat. Disjointed animal talking. I agree. I don't even know, like...
But then from, Flutterby McCrack Flapper Esquire the Third, twice removed, according to Akuma. We now have her walking, like, into the human world, from her forest, and she gets really indignant and pissed off. Because they're all, like, calling her a mare or a horse. She's like, what? Mare? Horse?
I am none of these things. I am a majestic and regal unicorn.
Could it really be the last that all they see is a white mare?
She does really become indignant at this concept that this is what she is, that this is how the world perceives her. And that's, man, we're not, that's jumping ahead. I don't want to get too far ahead, because, we'll get there in due time. But again, this is the part where she's in total denial about the idea that she's the last, right? And so that's where this indignation comes from, because people don't recognize her for what she is. But, magic is kind of, for all intents and purposes at this point in the story, magic has sort of left this world.
Yeah.
They really set that up early, that magic is kind of faded out of existence inside of this world, and like what little pockets of magic remain are unknown and unbeknownst to the people around them.
Yeah, it's very, we'll get to again to Schmendrick, but there's only a few magicians and magic, and they even call, when you get to Captain Cully and Molly Grew, the whole, oh, they're not real, you know, difference from reality and fantasy, and we're trying to make it, you know, be a reality.
Right.
And Mommy Fortuna, now we're gonna get to that part.
Yeah.
She has magic.
Yes, she has magic, but you know, they almost really, you know, and correct me if you think I'm wrong on this one, by all means, but it's almost like they're setting up this very dystopian worldview.
Yeah, where magic is dying, all the fantasy is going out of the land, and then you're just left with just bits and pieces of what used to be.
Right. It's like, you know, the nothing all over again. Fuck your hopes and dreams, kid.
It's gonna be caged like it is in the Midnight Circus or the Midnight Carnival. This is the only place you can see magic.
Right, and not even real magic, right? Because it's sleight of hand and parlor tricks. It's smoke and mirrors, and you know, it's kind of like the trick that life plays on us over time, right? Everything is kind of smoke and mirrors. We don't really have a good feel for what's real and what's not, and that's kind of what they're trying to express, I feel like, especially when we get to the Midnight Circus, which actually we're coming up on very quickly here, because that's when we first run into Mr. Schmendrick.
Right. Well, while she's going through like the scenes of going through the man's world, she falls asleep, and in the book it says unicorns rarely fall asleep, but when they do, they sleep hard. So this is how Mommy Fortuna could find her. Like, she was just driving by in her dark wagons, then was like, what? She stops and gets off, and she's like, it couldn't be. And then she calls over Schmendrick and Rook, who's that like little hunchback Igor looking character.
Oh, yeah. I think we have a picture of him, don't we?
We do. He's creepy.
Yeah. Give me a second here. So, Rook is this lovely gentleman right here. So yeah, she calls over Schmendrick and Rook, and she's like, tell me, what do you see?
And Rook's like, oh, I just see a horse. And Schmendrick actually sees the unicorn. He sees her horn. And he just says, I just see a white mare. Because he doesn't want to give it away that he actually knows things.
Right, and then she's like, you fools! You fools! Monobrow wings here on Rook. I mean, you can't get away from it. And then, of course, we have, at the same time, you know, this is, well, I don't think we have a still of...
We have a still of Mommy Fortuna.
We do. I was looking for a still of Schmendrick at this point, but we don't have one of them at this point. So this is Mama Fortuna, in case anybody needed to be reminded of what the old hag looked like, that runs the night circus. And this actually, I think, is the moment where she's like, look, tell me what you see.
Yep, and she's voiced by Angela Lansbury. Like, we have a star-studded cast.
Oh, yeah. Man, we got Mia Farrow, Angela Lansbury, we've got,
Jeff Bridges, Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Alan Arkin.
Yeah, this was a star-studded cast that did the voices for these characters, which is kind of awesome. You low-key love her hat. You know, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm gonna take this to my D&D campaign for a minute. I totally see Willow wearing this hat. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I totally see Willow wearing this hat. You know, yeah, totally see that. So, I mean, you've got all these characters, and they get built up pretty quickly because, you know, man, when was this movie made? 1976?
1982.
Wait, this is an 82 film?
This is an 82. The Lord of the Rings, the other ones that were done by Jason Rakin and Topcraft were done in the 70s. So, like, The Hobbit had already been done. The Lord of the Rings had already been done. And, yeah, the animation is very similar and just as kind of creepy.
Fantastic. I love it. I didn't we add a couple of, weren't those movies kind of on our side wish list, not the one that people were building for us in the suggestion box, but didn't we kind of throw them on there, like, we should do these movies?
Definitely The Hobbit. Yeah, definitely The Hobbit.
Definitely The Hobbit, because we all watched The Hobbit as a kid.
Gollum terrified me as a kid. Yeah, that and the spiders and the whatever goblins, but I loved the songs. I would sing the songs all the time.
Why does that not surprise me?
Because I sing lots of things. I talk in movie quotes and song lyrics.
You do.
And the book was written in 1968.
So there you have it, folks. The story was 1968. The movie was 1982. Right? Or 84? 82?
82.
Wasn't the Neverending Story also 82?
No.
No?
That was 84, I think.
Was it 84? Story was 78.
Right.
Okay. Just
Yay,
for whatever reason my brain is like I have to put these things in order so I can try and decipher about why some things in this movie are just so bad. I'm trying to imagine this movie being made with practical effects now, and there's certain scenes in this movie that terrify me with the idea of it being made with practical effects. I just want to point that out. We're gonna get to them very soon.
That'd be like the BBC's version of Narnia when those came out, and those were bad.
And so Mommy Fortuna, recognizing what she's got, right, decides to capture and cage Amalthea, right? Of course, we haven't learned that's her name at this point because that doesn't come out until she's talking to Schmendrick and he asks her name.
He actually gives her that name. She doesn't come up with it at all.
That's right. That's right.
Amalthea.
Yeah, he comes up with it after she turns into a human with his magics. Yeah, we'll get there. But so, so here she is put into a cage for her own protection by Mommy Fortuna, whom, our lovely old hag. And so kind of interesting theory. Well, I don't want to say theories, but some interesting concepts you can kind of dig out of the whole idea of, like, that sheltered protection, right? Like, as long as you're here, you're fed and you're safe and no one can harm you.
And I get paid.
I get to profiteer from your misery. Like capitalism at its best.
Mommy Fortuna wasn't protecting anybody. It was, I'm going to get coin because I got a unicorn in a cage.
I have to trick everybody into thinking it's a unicorn by putting a fake horn on her. Case in point, I think I have that.
Yep. When she first talked to Schmendrick. Last of the Red Hot Swamis.
Yes. The Red Hot Swamis.
But quickly, tell me what you see. Don't be afraid. Look at your fellow legends and tell me what you see.
So we can see the fake horn she's been entreated with.
What he calls a manticore looks to be no more than a shabby, toothless lion.
And the fake manticore.
And she has them believing that poor old ape with the twisted foot is a satyr. Illusions, deceptions, mirages.
The satyr actually terrified me as a kid. I don't know why.
Okay, you know what? The satyr was honestly kind of terrifying. When I was a kid and I saw the satyr too, I have to agree with you. I was like, yeah. Now I look at it and I'm like, that's a really bad example of a satyr.
Right. Now that I know what a satyr looks like in mythology, that is not it.
Right, exactly. I'm like, nah, mythologically speaking, that is not a satyr. But hey, whatever. So here's Mommy Fortuna. She's profiteering off of what they're doing, and she's got them in there, right? And the way she's keeping them captured is under the whole guise of, this is for your own protection. If I keep you locked away in here safely, no one can ever harm you. And that's what she's banking on. She's banking on people's willful ignorance and not being able to recognize they're being tricked, and the fact that these creatures have nowhere else to go. They're completely 100% reliant on her to provide them all their care.
Yep. Even in the book it was like that. And there's one creature that, it's the Midgard serpent, which is supposed to be the serpent that circumnavigate
Yeah.
The globe. Yeah, in Viking myth or heathen myth.
Yeah,
And I
I've
was
got
like,
that.
how do you find the Midgard serpent in the cage?
Yes, got the whole world in its coils.
As the whole world and its coils and.
No, she can't turn cream into butter, but she can make a lion look like a manticore.
But in
if dogs don't
reality,
wanna see a
like if
manticore.
you're looking if you read the book, which it's a good read, it says that this is just a piece of the serpent, that it doesn't notice that Mommy Fortuna snapped it out of its parallel universe and put it in the cage to see all of this. Okay.
So, like, it's what, like, you know, one scale of the Midgard serpent? Because the Midgard serpent, like, by Viking myth is, like, Norse mythology that's a big-ass snake.
That's supposed to be like the part that Thor pulled out of the ocean and came into this plane of existence from the other plane. And I didn't have it underlined, but I was like, oh, well, at least you explain why it's in the cage and not this is the whole serpent, because that would be BS.
I mean, okay, I can give it that. That makes that scene make a little bit more sense. But honestly, I remember as a kid. So honestly, for me, this area, the Midnight Circus, is honestly probably the thing that was the most traumatic for me throughout this whole movie. Well, this and the Red Bull. But I remember as a kid thinking to myself, how terrible to have all these animals in cages like this. Like, not even cages where they can roam around. They're literally in cages that are even too small for them to basically walk in. Like, all they can do is spin in circles, and that's the extent of the exercise that they get. And to me, that was trauma. Like, I was like, why? Why? Why are we doing this? And then I thought about how much I loved zoos as a kid.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And I don't even, and some of those wouldn't even, like you were saying earlier, wouldn't make it out of there because the satyr's a monkey with a twisted foot, and the lion is old and looks almost toothless.
Right, but okay, but then this is the selfishness of the unicorn at work here, right? Because she wants to set them all free, and what does she do? She sets them all free, and at least 2 of them cannot fend for themselves anymore in the wild.
Right, and she can heal with her horn, yet she just lets this chimp with, like, the lame foot just kind of run away.
Toddle off, and the
You're
lion with no teeth.
But yet we're gonna free the harpy.
The one thing that can kill everyone. Yeah, so, the harpy. I think we got a picture of her somewhere.
The harpy Solano.
Yes. Where is she at? This is not her in the cage, mind you, but this is the harpy. The only other immortal in this entire story. Actually, not quite true.
Not true. Not true.
Not true at all.
That are immortal in this story.
There's actually another immortal. Do you want to tell her?
There's actually like 2 other ones. You have Schmendrick, who is immortal. So since we're on the topic of Schmendrick, here's the reveal for Schmendrick. He's immortal. Dun-dun-dun. He's immortal because he was trained by one of the best wizards in this particular universe, Nikos, who was actually turned another unicorn into a human, but could never change them back. But Schmendrick could never get in touch with his magic, so Nikos cursed him and said, hey, you're going to be this age, this young age, until you can figure out how to make magic work for you. And at that point, then you will get your mortality back, and then you'll start aging again.
BT dubs, you can only do parlor tricks and street magic, though, until you figure out how to tap into your magic in case you hurt somebody.
Yep. So we're going to put the governor on your stuff. You're going to have training wheels until then, because Nikos saw so much potential in Schmendrick to be one of the greatest. That's why he said he's one of the last of the Red Hot Swamis.
Right, and you're right, Akuma. It is never brought up in the movie, though. You're right. That's not. But that's why we're pointing it out now, that the movie's actually got more than just these two immortals in it. And who's the other one?
And the Red Bull is immortal too.
Oh, is he?
The Red Bull's immortal. He's not like a figment of King Haggard. He's actually like a call. You have to call, almost like summoning a demon.
So he's a
which
summons.
I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's what Beagle is alluding to, is that it is a demon and it goes to the next master that calls it after he's done with that particular master. So the Red Bull's immortal.
Okay. I always thought the Red Bull was, like, just a manifestation of Haggard's, nastiness. Like, that's how it's kind of alluded to in the movie.
Yes and no. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
I mean, that's fair. That's 100% fair. I mean, it's good. It's good times fuckery all around. But it kind of struck me as odd because I never would have thought of it that way, because I always looked at, because the bull is truly terrifying. Honestly, like, they do such a good job. Like, the music for the bull is just really, like, there. I mean, not to jump ahead, we'll get to the bull in a little bit, but it's just there, and, like, it's so, like, ominous and omnipresent, and the bull is just the bright red and the dark, deep colors that surround the bull, and it's not quite, like, fully visible shape. There's just enough for you to get the idea of what's happening that makes it truly kind of a terrifying thing that you're exposed to when you're in that moment, or that process.
Right, and like so back to the Harpy Solano, she is like the dark side of the unicorn's light. So they even say to the movie, there's two sides of the same coin. They're sisters. It's the Harpy saying that when she's guilting Amalthea into letting her free.
Yeah,
and they took complete creative license with this Harpy, by the way.
So this is the Harpy Solano.
That one is real.
And then the
That is
titties.
the Harpy
Yeah, this
Solano.
part terrified me. Like the titties and then the claws,
The claws
gripping
and the
thing
music?
that-
Yeah. Like, seriously. Wait, this is where I think this is the spot where she talks about it.
Sleep, just as she took you. Oh, she should never have meddled with a real harpy, or a real unicorn for that matter, because the truth melts her magic, always.
Just as a mortal. And
Oh, they cut.
Huh.
Alright. Well,
Yeah, the Harpy was definitely, terrifying and traumatizing, Alex.
yeah, the Harpy is truly one of the most terrifying things in the movie. And, especially at the point when Amalthea frees the Harpy and the Harpy begins to attack everyone. But I don't know if it's in this clip. I'm going to check and see. I'm jumping ahead. You can feel free to talk while I...
Yeah, so they took complete creative license with the Harpy. Yeah, Akuma, the Harpy boobies, they are multiple, and think of the number changes in every scene. Yeah, well, Total Recall. Maybe Total Recall got, their muse from the Harpy Solano. But Harpies in mythology, I think, only had 2 breasts, and they actually had human faces. So they took a lot of license with Solano's appearance.
So I never noticed that the number of her boobs changes per scene, but I just happened to still on this scene as I was searching for the part that I wanted. And sure enough, there's 1, 2, 3, and those nipples got way longer. I just want to point that out. Those nipples, like, somebody grabbed them with a suction pump and was like, whoop!
Maybe that's Rook's kink, when the circus is down, we get the nipple cups out.
Or maybe Rook is just like, oh, you're a lactating harpy.
I can't do that.
Yeah, can't take me anywhere.
The chill quill, really, the archaic illustrations I addressed seem to indicate an entirely bird body with the female head. There are some that said that they have 2 breasts, I think I've seen, or they have, like, multiples. I think I've seen one where they have, like, the whole thing. But that might be another thing. Akuma, Harpy milk is the sweetest when it's fresh. I would really like to know how you know that, Akuma.
I can't wait until they meet harpies in the D&D game now. No questions. No questions. Fair enough. Fair enough. No questions shall be asked. You are free of the answering of the questions. That's okay. We won't bring it up again. You are safe from our questioning.
Allie, I'm with you too. And Chilquill, I don't know if it would taste like chicken.
I mean, I feel like she'd be kind of gamey. I'm gonna be honest. Just a little gamey. Probably a little stringy and a little tough. I don't think she'd taste good at all. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Leathery. Yeah, leathery even. I mean, did you see, she looks stringy. If the movie didn't traumatize you, we will.
I think that Chilquill was talking about the milk being like chicken. Hearing it stringy and gamey. If the milk is stringy and gamey, then we got a whole nother problem. Whew, are we trying to say it's curdling in the breast? No. Like cottage. Oh.
Why you gotta take it to cottage cheese? Why? Why'd you have to go there? That's a step too far. Listen, I go a lot of places. No, I'm serious. I go a lot of places, but that's a step too far.
So, moving on.
Ricotta.
She's immortal. These are yeah, I know.
Exactly, Chilquill. These are real questions. She's an immortal being. We gotta know these things. Come on. Alright, so, then we get to the scene. This is just right after she frees the harpy. And the harpy basically is like, nah, screw you, I'm gonna kill you too. I never realized how terrible this fight scene is. Until we started rewatching. I'm like, wow, this isn't even a good battle scene. Like, the harpy doesn't actually try to do anything, and the unicorn doesn't actually use that big sharp horn that she's got. And I'm gonna pause right here for a second, because this is the scene that when I was a kid, honestly, truly 100%, like, this was my trauma scene. Like, the first time I watched this, when we rewatched this for our watch before we got to doing the stream tonight, I remember just how much, the first time I saw this, it traumatized me, and I had to pause it and walk away from the movie because we were watching it on VHS at the time. And so, like, yeah, just this scene alone.
Never could have freed yourselves alone. I held you.
And her death was prophesied.
Right. To be by the harpy, no less.
Yep. Said your death sits in that cage, old woman. And then...
But the harpy literally eats her on screen.
And it turns red.
Yes! It turns red while it's doing it.
Run away from here now.
And then she's like, no, walk, don't run.
Yes, never run away from an immortal being. You'll draw its attention. So, yeah, so this really, to me, like, this scene alone was one of the most traumatizing scenes for me out of this whole movie. Like, to this day, this is still, like, the one scene where I'm like, if you ask me what was traumatizing about this movie, there's two things. Tree tits and this. Her getting eaten by the harpy.
The harpy that probably titty slapped her and then ate her.
Yes! Because that harpy got down there with them big old flappy tits and was like, whack right in the face and knocked her to the ground.
Akuma said, they don't mention that until after they are casually walking away, by the way. Right.
That's right. That's right. They are casually walking away. Like, we're just going to meander on away from here and not draw attention to ourselves. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Allie, I don't know if that would work in your D&D campaign.
Yeah, just saying. Your DM, I hear that she's a real hard ass, so you should be careful with things like that. I mean, I just saying, I heard it through the grapevine.
And they floated in on lava streams, and then they were stuck.
Is she really terrifying?
But that's another story.
That's a story. That's a story for another time. I mean, you know, I don't know what to tell you. If your DM is terrifying, it sounds to me like they might be doing their job. I could be wrong. I'm just saying.
But then
So-
after they walk away from, you know, the midnight circus, the unicorn says, "Hey, you know, thanks for everything. What would you like? I'll give you a boon for helping me." And he went, "I just want to go with you." And I can just hear her get exasperated, going, "Fine. I wish she asked for something else, though."
Right. She was not really very thrilled about the idea of him tagging along with her. Like, somehow him coming with her is like a huge imposition.
Like,
I mean,
it just goes to, like, her arrogance and self-centered, and it just plays into those character flaws a lot.
Right. I agree. Hey, Kai.
Hi.
You know, I agree. So they leave the night circus, or the midnight circus, right? Right after we go through all this, like, just insanity trauma of having, you know, Mother Fortuna be eaten by the harpy on screen. Like, didn't even have an off-screen death. They didn't allude to it. They straight up show us her getting eaten. And then they're just like, let's meander away from this and wander into a deep, dark forest.
Mm-hmm.
And we wander into a deep, dark forest full of brigands.
Yes, and then, but I think it was day when it happened.
No, it was...
The unicorn sleepers, was it night?
It's night when they get there, because... Let's see, yeah, it's night when they get there.
I thought it was night when Schmendrick got to the camp.
Maybe. Well, oh yeah, you're right. They run into them initially in the daytime when they're walking through the forest.
Right, and so he's like, "Oh, go hide." So Amalthea hides in the bushes on the side of the road, and then Schmendrick, in his wonderful buffoon wisdom, hides up in the bough of a tree with his butt hanging down.
Well, because he's a red-hot swami.
Right, he is definitely... He's a mess in some ways.
He had to let that tree know his booty was there.
Because he's a dendrophile, and we'll get into that.
Just saying. He got up there with all that hard wood, and he was just like, gotta let my booty hang.
He got up in them guts. Yep.
I mean, okay, so there's nothing really scary about the camp. But we meet some Wood Elves be like, yes, the Chilquill, yes. Okay, but we meet some interesting characters here. Kai is very confused.
Oh my goodness.
We'll get there, Kai. You got here at a great time. So, we meet some great characters, though, when we get to the forest, because, you know, we meet Molly, and we meet the captain, and of course, the captain doesn't really stick around.
But he does give a really good line, though.
He does, and I've got that scene, and I've got it ready to go if we want to see that scene. Since we're at the forest, and we're talking about the brigands in the camps, let's talk about Schmendrick getting his taco.
You are welcome here, sorcerer. Come to the fire and tell me what you've heard of dashing Captain Cully and his band of free men. Have a taco.
I want to know.
It has a taco.
We talked about this. Where the fuck did he get a taco?
So, I did a whole bunch of research just for this line. Because I was like, okay, so where was this? What's the actual setting in this? They don't really ever say, but they allude to it being somewhere in Europe. So, like, France, Spain. It's got to be somewhere near a coastal region because of the sea. And we don't, and you don't see anybody. Okay, so a taco is a dish from Mexico.
Yes, Allie. That is great.
Mexicans have not crossed the sea yet at the time period that this was set, and they don't have tacos in Spain. So, where the fuck did the taco come from?
I mean, to me, I'm just gonna speak about it from my perspective, but you know, a taco's a dish. It's a fine dessert, if you ask me. So many innuendos in that.
Reference then either.
I mean, I think Schmendrick's trying to get Molly's taco. I mean,
that's later.
That might have been the taco he was trying to sell Schmendrick. He was like, I'm tired of getting yelled at by this woman. You take her away.
But in like, so to like the therapeutic themes a minute for this scene where he's down and Captain Cully is trying to like play himself up to be like this big heroic hero, and he's not really. In the book, they actually pay people to leave them alone. The taco came from his butt kai.
Really?
Okay. But he wanted the minstrel to sing of all of his deeds and stuff, because he thought Schmendrick was actually this big, like, playwright, song, whatever, famous person. And, well, that's in the book, but Schmendrick's like, I'm not that dude, man. I'm really not. He tells him over and over again, I'm not this person that you think I am.
I cast prestidigitation! Woo!
Yep. And then they start talking about Robin Hood, and Captain Cully gets really mad at the mention of Robin Hood. He's like, Robin Hood is fantasy. What? He's not real. We're real. We're actually doing this. And then Schmendrick's like, magic, do as you will. When he first gets in touch with his magic.
That's right.
This is the point where we see this. And he conjures up Robin Hood, Maid Mary, and Friar Tuck, Will Scholar, the whole band of merry persons. And then everybody runs off after them. And this really pisses off Captain Cully and his first mate person. I forgot what his name was. And then we enter...
Yes, Akuma. Robin Hood is fantasy, but this full-on magic illusion is normal.
Right. Completely normal.
Normal. You can't see my air quotes because I've still got the media screen up. Normal.
Is this a video clip or is this a photo?
No, it's just... We just have this still.
Okay.
Because the next media clip I have is our Dendrophile.
Yes, and then Captain Cully and his first person get really upset when, like, you really shouldn't have done that, and they call him by this whatever person's name.
Right,
and they tie him to this tree.
Yes, they tie him to a tree. Do I have a picture of him tied to the tree?
I don't know, but I know I have the video.
I've got the video. I just wanted to see if I had a picture of him tied to the tree first. I do have a picture of him tied to the tree, but you can't really tell that he's tied to the tree. So I'm going to show you this picture before I show you the media of it, but this is the still that we have of him tied to the tree. I don't know why this is the still that you pulled of him tied to this tree, but it's fantastic. I just want you to know that.
Like, motorboating the tree.
Right. Okay. So now, on the other hand, I do have the tree scene. So he starts off here by casting magic to try and free himself from the tree, and that's what happens here.
Gumtina crusty starly husty.
As he's just nestled in the tree's bosom.
Right, and I want to point out...
Oh, I love
Do you want to stop and point it out?
I have to. Okay, so this is the perfect opportunity for me to point this out. Does anybody else see the penis and balls here? Is it just me? Am I the only one who sees this?
No, you're not.
Like, once I saw it tonight, I cannot unsee it.
I know, right? You cannot unsee the penis and balls in bush because
Yes.
the hair is the.
It gets better. Wait for it. It gets better.
Love, 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 love.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
what
I
have I
gotta.
done?
I don't think I missed it there.
Always faithfulness beyond any man's deserving. I will keep the color of your eyes when no other in the world remembers your name. There is no immortality, but a tree's love.
Oh God, I'm engaged to a Douglas fir. Help! Unicorn, where are you?
The tree dude. Or balls and testicles.
Did I miss it?
Ooh, goals and
Yeah, you did. It was right back.
Oh, I did. It's back further, so I'm gonna see if I can cut to it really quickly because I saw it earlier and then I wasn't able to unsee it. Ah, there it is. There it is. There's her arms looking like the vagina and the rest of her looking like the penis, just getting it deep in there. Just saying, she's balls deep on that one.
And again, remember, this is Japanese animation. So, But they're really good at, like, hiding sex organs in plain sight, like tentacles, since they can't have penises in Japan.
And so, it was intended, just not mentioned, yes. And so, I came across this on total accident tonight while we were prepping to get ready to go live. And I just, once I saw it, I could no longer unsee it. And I still can't. And now I am sorry. I truly am deeply sorry from the bottom of my heart that I have now traumatized all of you that much more. Because you now see this tree as nothing but a giant penis and balls.
I mean, okay, this thought just came to mind, and I'm probably gonna get smacked by Chill Quill for this. But what about Futanari? Because technically that's boobs and penis together.
Yeah, you know what? You know, it could be a little Futanari going on here. Like early. Sorry, you're not. What do you mean I'm not sorry? Of course I'm sorry. I am deeply, truly sorry.
Liar.
Hey, Denver Bear Hunter, thanks for giving us a follow. Look at everybody's with Kai. They're like, she's not sorry. This bitch is not sorry at all. In the meantime. But yeah, I mean, come on, guys. I'm sorry. Kind of.
That
Okay,
scene as
you're
a kid
right.
was traumatizing, though. Like, seeing before we even started talking about Futanari and penises, seeing him smash and motorboating the tree's boobs.
You mean this one right here? Where he's just like...
As a kid, I was like, what is happening? This isn't even like a cartoon. Well, it is a cartoon theme, but it's not a story theme. I think the animators a little sexually repressed, just a tad.
Right. They were having fun with it. There's the just one last time, for everybody's enjoyment. I mostly did this for Denver Bear Hunter because he just got here and he hadn't followed and he missed seeing the balls deep penis vagina tree. Because
And a reminder, folks, this is a mature stream if you didn't gather.
Right, one more time. It's a mature stream, everybody. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Alright. Since everybody called me out on that and said she's not really sorry at all, I mean, sorry, not sorry. So, meanwhile, back at the ranch. I mean, what can I say? It's one sexy ball penis tree.
Even though it reminds me of an old woman as a tree.
Badge of penis balls tree? It's definitely not a Douglas fir. She's more like a weeping willow.
Right? Had to make her more, I guess, Golden Girl feminine.
So, she's like Dorothy in tree form with a little bit of Blanche?
Yes. B. Arthur in tree form. With the attitude of Blanche.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a great description of the tree. It's a great description of the tree. So, I'm more traumatized by the tree now as an adult than I ever was as a kid. I just want to throw that out there. As a kid, I was like, woohoo, boobs. As an adult now, I'm like, oh god, there's so many things wrong with this.
So the unicorn frees from the tree. And again,
Like-
she's very, like, nonchalant. She's like, dude, what the fuck? Keep it in your pants and let's go.
Right, do I have I thought I had a still of... I guess I don't. And I don't think... There's the part here... This is the part where she, like, approaches, the tree,
Together!
where she's trying to smother it with her boobs. And, of course, the unicorn comes along and, like, breaks his ropes, you know, frees him from bondage. And,
He just looks so defeated. He's like...
He does. He does. In case you missed that defeatist look on his face, here it is for you guys one more time. It's like, she took away my booby tree.
Sad, because he's not tied up anymore. Yeah, come
Right,
on.
she freed him from his bondage. Okay, no, so as a kid, I didn't have... As a kid, I didn't have the knowledge to be terrified of the tree.
Right.
And as an adult, looking at this, and being the simple fact that anybody that knows me knows that my mind pretty much lives in the gutter, I am utterly terrified of it. Now.
Yes.
Because now I see that for just a truly terrifying thing. Honest to God, I think if the tree had been able to, she would have straight up just absorbed Schmindrick into her. She says it very, very point blank, you know, there's no love like a tree's love because it's forever.
She would have just swallowed him and smothered him with her boobs. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, talk about smothered covered.
Not Waffle House.
Some Schmindrick hash browns.
Just gathered, smothered, and covered in the tree's love. Okay.
Schmindrick would have just been another ring.
Okay, so, again.
Moving on.
Moving on. And then we cut to, like, Molly Grew comes back from the forest.
Yeah.
Like, so are you leaving us so soon, magician?
Do I have...
You have that scene.
I have Molly and the captain. Oh yeah, I also have I have this picture. This picture here you guys are gonna see. This is Molly Grew and the unicorn after they come back from the forest. And Molly is happy here, kind of. Is Molly ever really happy? I don't think this bitch is ever happy.
The way that he portrays her, she's a very weather-worn woman. Seen a lot of shit in her time.
Yes. And so I'm trying to skip ahead a little bit because I don't want to.
She gets really mad at Amalthea when she first see her, but it's more of like grieving for her lost youth.
Yes, Akuma. Yes.
Waffle House is good.
No, it is not. No, it is not. There's nothing good about Waffle House.
Where have you been?
Don't you talk to her that way.
I'm here now.
And here she's chastising the unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more of anger for her lost youth.
20 years ago? 10 years ago? Where were you when I was new? When I was one of those innocent young maidens you always...
Yep, she does. She shoves him like yeet.
How dare you come to me now, when I am this?
So what I find really interesting here is that Molly blames the unicorn for her suffering. She literally takes all of her anger and all of her suffering and pushes it onto the unicorn like it's her fault. Instead of accepting it for herself and saying, my life didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I'm gonna blame you. I'm gonna blame you for not coming to me when I was a young maiden and you could have made my life better. Instead, my life is trash because you didn't come to me until now.
Which happens in a lot of, like, codependent relationships when we start talking about, because from here on, there's going to be a lot of codependency.
Yes.
She's being the victim, or she feels like the victim, but she's being the persecutor here, blaming the unicorn, like, where were you? Why haven't you done this? But, and later she becomes the unicorn's enabler.
Right, she becomes her enabler, but Molly plays the victim, the persecutor, and the enabler multiple times from this point forward. She's constantly persecuting Schmendrick. She's constantly enabling the unicorn, and she's also constantly acting like it's everyone else's fault that she's not in a better position. She blames Schmendrick, she blames the unicorn, she blames Schmendrick when things don't go exactly the way she wants, or Schmendrick doesn't turn the unicorn back when she wants him to. You know, like, why don't you have control over your magic? You're just worthless. How could you let this happen?
Molly is famous for putting, like, Schmendrick and the unicorn in double bind situations, which are unwinnable situations. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And when you're researching back in, like, schizophrenia, they found a lot of people who had schizophrenia back when they did this study had mothers who would put them in double bind situations.
Interesting. That's something I didn't know. And Kai has decided that you are a stand-in for the unicorn.
Oh, okay. I'm the scape. You're gonna blame me? That's cool because, yeah, well, that's another story.
And that's another story.
Where's the horn?
Right. So we get into this whole thing, and from this point forward, this is one of the things that we latched onto while we were watching the movie too, is that everything that happens now revolves around this kind of intricate, like, triangular codependent relationship that these three main characters have. And we're not even talking about the depth of their codependency, or the depth of the codependency when we get to Haggard and his son.
Lear. Oh my god.
Prince
There's a
Lear.
whole bunch of,
you know,
the disorganized attachment shit.
Yeah, we'll get there, because that's a whole nother fucking can of worms in and of itself, especially with the way that he's just like, oh, hi, Amalthea, I want to bone you. So, so this continues, right? For a good long while, we get this continuation of Molly just, like, blaming and you know, like, oh, feel bad for me, I'm so sad, this is terrible, what has happened to me.
If you had been waiting to see a unicorn as long as I have.
She's the last unicorn in the world.
I forgot what Schmendrick says there.
He's like, you can see her, like, you know what she is, and then he's like, she's the last unicorn in the world.
Yeah, Akuma, Prince Lear. It's spelled L-I-R.
Yeah, but you know where he's going with this.
Yeah,
Lear.
yeah.
Lear.
He does Lear. Oh, I know. Okay.
He's bringing it back to D&D there. So we get to this whole thing, and then from here, is this the first time that, so we go from that to the first time that they run into, our next big friend.
Yes.
And, you know, we kind of already showed a picture of him, but just as a reminder, this is our next big friend. And they meet up with him, on the road to finding, you know, because they start searching, right? This is at their point where they're like, oh, we need to try and find where all the other unicorns have gone to. What happened to them? Where did they go? Where was the last one seen? What do we remember? And this is where they find out about the Red Bull, and they start down this path.
Oh, rewind a little bit, because at the Midnight Circus is when Mommy Fortuna actually told Amalthea, yeah, King Haggard, you know, he had the Red Bull and chased him down long ago.
Yes, that's right. That happens at Mommy's Fortuna's at the Midnight Circus. That's right. And so that's where they set off. That's why they went into the forest to begin with, because they were trying to get on the trail of the Red Bull, going towards King Haggard's lands.
And Molly points out, hey, Schmendrick, the, all-knowing, you're going the wrong way. It's this way.
Right. That's that other spot where she's just like, do you even know what you're doing? Do you even Schmendrick? Just saying.
But then while they're napping, they get woken up by Mr. Bull.
Right. And we have that scene, I believe. Now, this scene scared the shit out of me as a kid. Because, like I said... Yeah, it's just enough to be utterly terrifying, and the color scheme...
He's driving her! He can't want to kill her or go...
Yeah, he's driving her. He's driving her hard.
I'd have done it by now!
Red Bull
He's driving her the way he drove the others, to the castle, to King Haggard.
Please. But at this point, you almost see defeat in Amalthea's eyes, and she's like, "Fine, yeah, whatever."
Right, and now you've got Molly begging the incompetent wizard to save the unicorn, save her from this beast.
You have real magic. I saw you conjure them in the forest, and you can do it if you want to.
Right, exactly.
What can I do? Do you think the Red Bull likes card
tricks? This is when he's like thinking of Nikos and like, shit, yeah, this could happen, but I gotta do the magic, and the magic's gonna do what the fuck it wants, because I don't really know what the hell I'm doing.
Right, and then we jump ahead a little bit, and, you can see, like, Schmendrick is kind of like...
You have magic. Maybe you
He's so defeated of himself. He has no belief in himself.
Robin Hood, and there is no Robin Hood.
None
you have
whatsoever.
all the power you need if you dare to look for it.
And Amalthea is 100% defeated at this point.
It's not fair.
And he's driving her to the sea.
Right, and we've got Molly begging him, screaming at him that it's not fair, and this is the part where I turn around and I'm like, bitch, life isn't fair. Fairness is a poor concept.
Amalthea gotta get herself out of this one, but she doesn't.
So,
right.
she's...
He's still cracked jokes.
Run now!
It's his defense mechanism.
Right, it is his defense mechanism to crack jokes. And if you see here in this scene, we can see Amalthea's defeatist nature. Like, that just, nope, I'm done for. Like, the terror of the Red Bull has taken over her. She realizes she can't escape him because he keeps popping up every direction that she goes from this point forward. And now she's just content. Sadly, she's content in her own way to just let the bull take her away.
And I'm wondering, like, in her life experience, everything has come very easy for her because, yay, she's a unicorn. And this is one of the first really difficult things she's had to face is the bull.
Right, absolutely. She's not had to face anyone up until this moment in time. She's not had to face any real hardship or real trauma in her life. And so... Go ahead.
Besides Mommy Fortuna in the Midnight Circus.
Right. And so then we get to this part of the scene. Yeah, Akuma, no conflict. She's had no conflict in her life. So Schmendrick's begging her to run, and the bull finally scares her into running.
Magic, do as you will! Magic, do as you will!
So we're gonna get Molly, like, what did you do?
What have you done?
And now we've got a naked white girl.
Yes, very stark white.
Yes. But her first reaction isn't, you saved her. Her first reaction is literal blame. What have you done?
And then he's like, I didn't choose the shape. The magic chose the shape. You asked her not to be a fucking unicorn, and she's not a unicorn anymore.
I didn't do anything. I told the magic to do what it would. Magic, do what you will. Magic, do what you will. Magic did what it would. Just, yeah, that's a lot of wood.
Made her into a white girl.
I mean, she went from being a white mare to a white girl. Platinum blonde hair, you know. With purple eyes, mind you. With purple eyes.
Yes, with purple eyes.
But, you know, we see the bull's confusion, but the bull is only supposed to drive unicorns, so she's not a unicorn anymore. What's he supposed to do with her?
Right, because King Haggard didn't want girls, he wanted unicorns, so...
Right.
It's like, well, fuck.
So, then we get to this part of this scene.
What have you done? What have you done?
And we still have Molly in her straight-up blame game.
Yep.
What did you do? What did you do? How could you have done this thing to her? Like, you took away what made her special, somehow. If I'm correct in...
I can change your back. Don't worry about it. I can change your back.
So she has
Not confident that that idea at all. I can do it. Don't worry about it. I can do it.
Done to me.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Oh, please, no.
You see, I couldn't think of anything else to do to save you.
What have you done to me? I'm a unicorn. I'm a unicorn.
Don't, you'll hurt yourself.
Be still. The magic knew what it was doing. In this shape alone, you have some hope of reaching King Haggard.
Which
and
he's not
finding out
wrong
what has
about.
become of the other unicorns.
I wish you would let the red
She's not wrong, but as a unicorn,
I wish you
she
had
never
left
had to
me
feel
to
herself
Harmony.
get old
I can feel this
and
body dying
things
all around
fall apart.
I can feel this body dying all around me.
You're right, it is. Every second.
But that's just it. So, until this moment, she was never aware of her own mortality. She wasn't even aware of her own feelings. You know, one of the interesting things I think that the movie touches on is that as a unicorn, she didn't have to be aware of those things. She didn't have to be aware of her feelings. She didn't have to be aware of her surroundings. I mean, she basically had carte blanche to be a complete and utter sociopath in her life. And not have any...
She kind of...
Yeah, well, yeah. She didn't have any repercussions for it, right? She just was allowed to do. 100%. Just do. Exist.
Yeah, she even told Schmendrick that I don't regret. I can feel sorrow, but not as you feel it. So in this, when she becomes human, it's like one of the analogies that I give in sessions is when you shove your emotions down so much that, you know, conceal, don't feel. Imagine your feelings like a beach ball and you're like pressing it under the water. And then all of a sudden you start feeling again. It's going to come out fucking sideways or shoot up in the air like it would in a pool.
Right.
So now it's all encompassing her.
Right. And so now she's got like this flood of emotions from everything that she's ever done. And, you know, I don't even know. I really wonder, is it so much that she can feel the body dying around her, or is it just she feels the absolute depth of all the bullshit she did in her life?
Well, you know.
I mean, because if I didn't have any feelings and I suddenly felt all of the bullshit I did in my life, I might actually think that I could feel my body dying.
And that's a theme in a lot of fantasy novels. Like, take the most current, The Magicians, where they have the shade that can, you know, you can break or heal back, and you just don't have feelings. You just do what's logical.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It is. It's you do what's logical. And so, you know, we get to this point, and this is where we're at. Schmendrick feels terrible for what's happened. I remember that one time in Unicorn College. What did I do? Where did I put my horn? Oh my. So that's how Twilight got that sparkle.
Funny how we mentioned, like,
good night,
some
folks.
humanoid creatures, unicorns.
It's been fun.
There is a theory that unicorns were turned into humans, and then they all of a sudden had humanity and magic, and that's where magicians came from, or witches.
Okay. I'm down with that concept. I'm down with that concept. I could see that. So, that's, okay. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Just gonna.
So after Amalthea has like this huge emotional meltdown and feels her body dying, then we cut to King Haggard's castle.
Do we cut to King Haggard's castle at that point?
I think so. Like, we come upon King Haggard's kingdom.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any, like, pictures of King Haggard's kingdom. We've got stuff at the castle, we've got King Haggard. I don't think we've got any stills of his actual kingdom.
No, there wasn't very many stills of the actual kingdom.
Yeah, and we have the scene of her meeting the king. So, let's talk about, since we're gonna go to that, and that's kind of where we're at, let's talk about King Haggard. And King Haggard is really, we've got a picture of him here. King Haggard is, well,
right,
he's Haggard.
They did a little walk over the hill and bam!
Yeah, it's like they suddenly were there. It's like, ta-da! We've magically transported. He's a lich! Kind of. Yeah. He kind of is. Haggard is pretty haggard. He's skin and bones. He's got that nice long pointy nose. And, of course, he's voiced by Christopher Lee, who's, fantastic. But King Haggard is really just he's a psycho. He's a sociopath. Everything is about his own happiness. He's very self-centered. He's very narcissistic. He's really in it for himself. Everything that he does, even when he saved. Do I have just a picture of him, or do I only have a picture of him and Amalthea? Yeah, I'm checking to see. I think I only have pictures of him and Amalthea, but that's okay. Even when he saved Prince Lear. It was only because he thought saving Prince Lear would bring him some level of happiness. That having a child would do something for him, would give him some kind of feeling. And it didn't. It was short-lived at best.
Right, so a little bit about Haggard and Lear's history. So you don't see this in the film, but there's a city that's tied to the curse of King Haggard. It's called Hags Gate. Weird name. But yeah, Hags Gate is the town that's tied to King Haggard. And the townspeople mention that King Haggard would come out at night and take bits and pieces of stuff that's left out. And that's why, like, their armor's old and ratty and whatnot. It's made from bits and pieces. But they would never have children because it was tied to the prophecy that somebody from Hags Gate would topple the castle, and then the city would be in ruins, because right now it's prospering from all the stuff that's happening. But someone did have a baby, and they left the baby on the stump to die. And King Haggard found the baby and decided to take it in to raise it as his own, not for out of any, just because he thought it would make him happy, and that is Prince Lear.
Yes,
Spoiler,
little child, come with me to my castle. Allow me to raise you. You shall be my one and only.
Sorry.
Then after he got used to, like, having Prince Lear around, he was like, oh my god, the thing cries. And it's just, as babies do, because it's a baby.
It shits, it pisses, it cries, it won't shut the fuck up. This thing is obnoxious.
It doesn't make me happy.
It makes me angry.
He just keeps him around.
Right. So he raises him and he keeps him around for whatever reason. Even though he never brings him happiness. He just becomes another person in the castle for Haggard to blame, torture, or otherwise, offset his own continued unhappiness. I guess, if you wanna put it that way. And so, she gets turned into a person, she stops being a unicorn, they walk to the castle, and I wish we had the gate scene.
your names.
I am Schmendrick, the magician. This is Molly Grew, my helper, and this is the Lady Amalthea. We seek audience with King Haggard.
State your business.
And they don't really notice, like,
I
the
will,
half-naked
but to
chick
King Haggard
that's just
himself.
covered by a rope.
Right? Who has to be helped to walk.
Right.
And Prince Lear right there was really, and forgive my pun, leering at her.
He did, in that moment, it was like, that. I want.
That. I'm gonna get me some of that stark white, pale, platinum blonde, purple-eyed ass. That's what I want.
But wait, it gets better if I tell you the backstory of Prince Lear. Their way.
Oh dear. Let it rip.
So, before Amalthea became a unicorn, or became the woman who can't walk, on their way they see a prince and a princess trying to call out the unicorns. Like, oh, you know, my father wants you to fulfill this thing, blah, blah, blah. So the princess is, like, calling to the unicorn, and the unicorn, like, turns to Schmendrick, and Molly's like, yeah, I used to go to princesses. I used to lay my head in their lap. I used to let them ride on my back, but it's stupid. I don't want to do it anymore, basically. So then they just keep walking. And then they later find out that Prince Lear was the prince with the princess. And he straight up decides to cut off that engagement when he sees Amalthea.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He just drops her like a hot potato. He's like, nah. This chick I know nothing about, who might not even be royalty, that's who I want. The one with the tattoo on her forehead. Yeah.
Because I want to kill dragons for her, and ogres, and all the things.
Right? I will kill dragons for her. We'll get to that nonsense. So, meeting the king.
Throne room? This is a cell. This is a tomb. Take us to King Haggard.
I am King Haggard. This is Prince Lear, my son.
Hi, glad to meet you.
I am King Haggard.
What is your concern with me?
We seek, sire, to enter your service.
I need no servants.
Oh, but surely, sire, a magician, a fine cook,
You are losing my interest, and that is very dangerous.
So, that's the thing I find really interesting about King Haggard. He just straight up tells people, sorry, you're boring me, and that's dangerous for you. Like, I have no interest in you or your services. I'll just get rid of you.
If you bore me, if you don't make me happy, you're done. No, Jeff Bridges played the prince.
So then we,
but I
you know...
think you're talking about this with his nose.
Yeah. So, going forward a little bit, you know, we get, Schmendrick putting on his display.
great feasts.
They are nothing to me. I have known them all, and they have not made me happy.
Nothing makes me happy because I'm just a sour man.
I will keep nothing near me that does not make me happy.
Nothing near him that doesn't make him happy. Except Prince Lear. He keeps Prince Lear near him even though Prince Lear does not make him happy. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah, I think he has some form of attachment to Prince Lear.
I also keep one magician.
Oh, a magician, huh? What's his name?
He's called Mabruk.
Ah, Mabruk. And in case you guys are wondering, Mabruk. So we had this big discussion because of Mabruk. I want to touch on this for a minute. So again, Mabruk. Notice the thing about Mabruk. What is it? Long, flowing beard. That luscious mane all over his face. Is it just me? Has anybody ever noticed that, like, from this era, like, a wizard status symbol is a beard? Like,
The beard and white hair. You got
the
Merlin.
beard and white hair, like, gotta be that
Yeah.
sagey scholar, you know? Yes, let me stroke my beard of luscious knowledge. And I mean, like, case in point, like, I keep this here near my desk because, you know, I'm just that nerdy. But, again, long, white, flowing beard. You can't really see it because, you know, the light kind of drowns out his bright white face. But, you know, same problem. Beard. And yes, he's standing on my computer, casting his staff forward. You know, gotta cast away all those demons. That's what happens. You know, I'm in this D&D campaign, and again, the DM is just a vicious DM. Just, I don't know how I survive all the time. But anyways, oh wait, because I'm the DM. Ah! All right, so. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Quite literally, we're at a ranch. I'm sorry, it's a castle. Goblin arrow. Yes, goblin arrows. There's a reason why Acornia doesn't want to fight goblins, because she has been shot by goblin arrows.
And goblins.
I'm just saying. You know what? Listen, Cinna is perfectly happy to deal with goblins because her response to that is, cool, I'm just gonna get in the wagon and drive away. You guys have fun, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's not the campaign I DM though. That's the campaign I'm a player in. Sorry. And in that case, Denver Bear Hunter is my DM. And he likes to shoot goblin arrows at people. Just saying. So, you know, Mabrook. Yes, Mabrook. Anyhow. I don't even know how to break down Mabrook.
Okay, so if you take the look at the two wizards, you have Mabrook and you have Schmendrick. Mabrook actually is, I think he like learned with Schmendrick, because he actually says, "Hey, my boy," or "Schmendrick, my boy, yeah, I remember you. You've gotten any better?" And he's just totally laughing at him.
Yeah, so we've got that scene.
Did you hear that, Mabrook?
What does your majesty wish of me?
Oh, that
Schmendrick, my dear boy, how nice to see you.
He has come to take your place. He is now my royal magician.
Shh. The legendary Schmendrick? The runeless wonder? I realize your majesty is a great collector of oddities, but...
The woman is right.
I love that he calls it the runeless wonder.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Like... And then he's like, I know you collect rare oddities, but this guy, really?
Really? You wanted Schmendrick?
Like, you really want to keep this one? Of all the things you could collect, this is the thing you want to collect. Are you sure?
Then Mabrook like looks over at Amalthea and goes, "Oh," and starts laughing. He's like, "You just let your doom in through the front door."
Yeah, so got that queued up.
I will see what an incompetent one can do. You may go, Mabrook.
And King Haggard's like, "What?"
Backed off as easily as that.
So he sees her for what she is.
Because he's got magic.
Come on, old man. All right.
I don't know if he tried to transform her at that. Whatever.
I would not be you for all the world.
He might have.
Is that I was wondering that. Like he does his big show and then her star gleams.
So I really like this scene, honestly. This scene also scared me as a child because of just the darkness, the lightning flashing, the thunderbolt. That gets into the fact that as a kid I was terrified of those things, so, you know, that's beside the point.
Usually, like, their eyes freak me out. Like,
Right?
Mabrook's eyes and then the skull's eyes.
But I like Mabrook in the scene because he's just so, like, he can't help but laugh at Haggard, right? He's just like, you fucking idiot! Do you realize that you just let in your own doom? Good job, mate. Yeah, You know what? You walked her in through the front door, but nah, she's not gonna leave that way. Mabruk. He prophesies the whole thing, right? He tells us what's coming. He's our foreshadowing agent for this moment, right? Gives us the clue that we're gonna reach the climax of our journey through the unicorn. Wow, that was a poor choice of words. Because I'm just thinking about the tree.
Just like... His coloring, at one point, I thought the pirate cat was Mabruk, like he transformed into the pirate cat and was actually dropping things. But that's not really what the pirate cat is. He's just a disjointed character.
You know, that's an interesting thought. I don't think I had ever thought of the pirate cat as being Mabruk, like, still sticking around. But now that I think about the pirate cat's colors, I think I got a still of him somewhere in here. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, in its own way. Like, so, whoops. You guys don't want that screen. Sorry. That's not the screen I meant to grab. I meant to grab this one. We're be right backing because apparently I'm just, you know, not with it. Yeah. So, I can kind of see that, right? The eye patch being kind of like his crown where he had all the red jewels and, like, you know, then just the black and white coloration of him, you know.
And the beard.
Yes, the beard, and then, like, his staff is kind of coming in as the peg leg, like, so he's still got access to his magical artifact. So, I can kind of see it. It's his own enigma wrapped in a mystery drizzled with what the fuck. Yes, I agree that with you, Akuma. That is exactly what the cat kind of becomes. But beside so here we have, you know, this character who basically just kind of foreshadows the rest of the story for us, and then he just disappears from the scene as if, you know, he never needed to be there or around ever again. And I'm not, how does he play out in the book?
Exactly like that.
What?
That's it. Everything that happened in that scene is basically how you get introduced to Mabruk and how he leaves. I was waiting to see, and he transforms into the kitchen cat. That they like, fuck Beagle, at least give me something. Give me some reason why this cat isn't here.
So I mean, like, again, I say this because it seems to me like Mabruk could have really had a lot bigger part in this story.
Agreed.
Like, he's definitely a capable magician.
Yes.
So, why doesn't he get a bigger part? I mean, basically it was, summon me the Red Bull and now get the fuck out of my castle?
Yeah, he was like, you know what? You know, Haggard, fuck you. And he left.
I mean, he did. Like, he's like, I wouldn't be in your shoes for all the money in the world, basically, you know? Because he knows what's coming now. He knows what the end result of the events that have come into play are. But but that's the thing that gets me, is that, like, he could have just been such a much bigger player in this whole story.
He could have. He could have wrapped him up in some other stuff, but then it wouldn't have allowed Smendrick to do stuff that he does later, and...
Well, but I mean, like, he could have come along, maybe, like, and just in secret coached Smendrick, or maybe, you know, he was there at the night circus, you know, helping, you know, Mother Fortuna, like, capture rare and mystical creatures, you know, to keep them away from Haggard, just to, you know, drive Haggard further down the rabbit hole of, like, I can't find the thing that's making me happy. Yeah. I mean...
He's deriving great joy that Haggard's about to, like, fulfill the prophecy of the curse that was placed upon him when the castle was built.
Yeah, he is. He totally takes a ton of joy in that. Like, for him, it's, like, fantastic. He's just like, oh man, that's, like, orgasmic pleasure for me. Good job, Haggard. Thanks. I totally needed that. That's...
You know, I have this vision of Mabruk sitting on the hill with popcorn going, alright, any moment now. It's gonna happen.
That bitch walking to the ocean. Oh, shit. Let me get some extra butter for this. Oh, damn. Oh, here it come. Oh, fucking castle falling down. Yeah.
There goes Haggard with it.
Yes. Okay, so Haggard does get a hard-on thinking about tossing the unicorn off the balcony, and I think we have that scene, actually. And you can see that look on his face, where he's, like, really excited about that idea. I think I even have that, like, just as a still in here.
You probably do.
I do. I don't think you could quite see the, like, level of, like, pleasure on Haggard's face in this, but this is that scene that Akuma's bringing up right now, about, you know, him thinking about tossing her off the balcony, and I'm pretty sure,
This is when he gets really mad because her eyes change.
Yeah, this is that scene. But before that scene, we have to cover some of the other things about this movie that are utterly traumatizing, and we've skipped over a lot of them, and I just want to point that out. But we've saved the best moments of this movie's most traumatic scenes. Yes.
I can't remember.
Are we doing?
I was long ago. Someone strange.
Oh, Mia Farrow does not need to sing. No.
Oh, the music and the way the audio just falls apart.
Now that I'm a woman.
What's even better is her and the duet.
Everything is strange.
Because now that she's a woman, everything is strange.
I must go to him. I must face the bull again and discover what he has done with them.
Yeah, they had to put in these musical numbers to, like, go through this whole series of things that her and Lear go through, and they're really weird.
Yes, the Allosaurus, like Pinocchio.
Yes.
So I'm a real woman now. Look, Ma, no strings.
I have no strings to hold me. Oh God. I have no strings on me.
I mean, never mind. Nope, not going there. I'm just gonna zip my lips on the string thing. And no horn to poke you with. Yep, there you go. Damn it, nope.
Have a horn.
And she might have a string later. And scene! Alright. The sigh! Yes, there it is. I've done my job. Listen, we do not shame.
Yep, it'll happen. I can do that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope, we are not doing that. Okay, so anyways. The musical numbers are some of the most traumatic things in this movie. I'm just going to point that out. This is not the only one, of course. There's also this lovely piece here.
Oh, no. Jeff Bridges. No, sir. No.
Words are always getting in my way. Anyway, I love you.
I love you.
And that's all he writes every time. That's all he writes. But then we get to these scenes, right? Like, this is, you know, more of...
That's all I have to tell you. I'm not a man.
It's straight up like the very much lust.
Yeah, it's complete infatuation and lust. And of course, you know, this imaginary romance that he's building up in his mind.
He's falling in love with fantasy, which a lot of people do, versus what's actually in front of him.
Right, exactly. Right, he's kind of like, sounded like Kermit for a sec. For a sec. Freudian
Kermit
slips. They're Kermit sex. Yeah, God, Kermit sex. Ugh.
Jim Henson's
right there,
another...
Kermit! Right there, Kermit! Right there, Kermit!
Another repressed individual. Cod pieces and Labyrinth. That's all we have to say.
Yeah, cod pieces and Labyrinth. Labyrinth is on our list eventually. You know, but now I've just got Miss Piggy and Kermit having sex in my head, and I can't get it out. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, the Alley Store. Because you know what? Miss Piggy, all I see is domestic violence when I think of Miss Piggy. And I'm just like, I can just hear her screaming, right there, Kermie, right there, Kermie. And then, you know, as soon as he fails to be right there, she just punches him in the face. And she's like, that's not it!
She gets, like, that nose.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's just, that's it. Lights out for Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog.
That's some bacon grease. Yes. Gender fever.
Wow. Yes, Lynn, poor Kermit. Wow. I know, it's terrible. Like, we're awful. We're awful. So Prince Lear never gets better.
No.
Oh, God, it's just...
That's all I have to tell you.
Oh, I have to skip ahead. I can't. Sorry, guys. Oh, it just, you know, like, my skin crawls. It just crawls. They're so, like, codependent. Everybody in this movie is so codependent. Every single one of them.
To be fair, Prince Lear came by his bullshit, honestly.
Okay.
Because he has a very avoidant, attached father, like, cold...
Yes.
Parental figure. So he doesn't know how to be in a relationship at all.
Okay, yes. I 100% agree with that. I do. And that aspect. And of course, she's a total sociopath. She has no idea how to be in a relationship, period. Except with herself. So, like...
Right?
But, like... Just... Everything about...
He knows... All he knows is to try to give things to make her happy. Like his father. Just to make... happy. So I'm gonna kill dragons for you. I'm gonna be a hero for you.
He straight up goes out and kills this dragon. This dragon! He kills it,
right.
Chops off its head, and takes it to her, and then gets mad because she doesn't accept it as a gift.
Right.
He's like,
I don't want
can't
that
believe
shit.
you fucking rejected my gift after I went out and slayed the dragon for you.
Like, come on.
Then he, like, sees her when she's having a PTSD nightmare from the Midnight Circus.
Right?
And then sings and then falls in love. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, I love you so much while you're afraid and trembling. That's what does it for me, princess. Right there, be afraid, tremble before me.
I think that's what Haggard would say if this was like a hentai for Haggard in Amalthea.
Okay, that's a really good point, Akuma. Nobody believes in fucking Robin Hood, but dragons exist.
Right.
You know, yeah, that's a really good point for him to bring up. I'm just gonna say that. It is a really good point for him to bring up. People literally were like, Robin Hood's not real. But dragons, they're real. But of course, unicorns are also real. So maybe it's more like mythological people can't exist, but mythological beasts can? I mean, harpies are real. Yes.
And they just like a biatch. Yes.
I also just want to point out that he doesn't kill a Western-style dragon.
Right.
He kills an Eastern-style dragon. I just want to point out that little subtle racism that was thrown in there.
He kills like a verm versus a wren.
So anyways, yes, dragon slaying. You know, the more I think about this movie, the more I'm just like, it did not age well. This movie did not age well. It's not just the sound. This movie just did not. This is the unhealthy relationships.
Very, very unhealthy.
Like,
but then we get to that point that you pointed out where like Haggard is on the turret with Amalthea.
So I'm gonna play that
really
scene.
Mad.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that scene. So this is Haggard
You're right,
on.
because it was so...
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely right. That is true. That is probably why that dragon was chosen, because it was drawn in Japan. You're right. That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. This is Haggard with Amalthea on the turret. This is the first time we notice that Amalthea's eyes are no longer purple, but they're blue? Green? Blue. Aren't they blue now?
I think they're blue.
There is only one thing that has ever made me happy.
What is that?
My penis in a unicorn.
Wow.
Do not mock me. I know very well what you have come for.
His nose.
And
was
you
out.
know very well that I have them. Try to take them if you can.
Take my testicles if you can. I've got them. They're giant.
But do not mock me.
My lord.
There's nothing of yours that I desire. Nothing.
Except for your
I
son.
know you.
That I do desire.
Legit. Right? The other thing is that I just want to highlight. Kuma's like, I'm coming down from my eye. I just want to point out, you know, before I go back to this scene, that Christopher Lee is amazing.
He is.
Honestly, of all the characters in this movie who have any kind of depth, it's Haggard. Like, the way he orates this scene, the way he covers it, and you can just hear it all in Haggard. Like, all the other characters, I'm gonna be honest, all of the other characters are so flat. They're so just one-dimensional. But Haggard, like, he goes through everything that Haggard feels in just this turret scene. I know what you are. I've known since the moment I saw you at the gate, and I've not stopped watching you since. You know, he's angry, he's honest, which is kind of strange, but he also is like, you are the thing that makes me happy, and I know this, and I know what you are, and I'm waiting for you to prove to me that you are exactly what I think you are. I don't know, I just gotta say, Christopher Lee, kinda awesome. It makes me really sad that he's gone.
His voice acting is spot on in this.
It really is. I mean, so for all the parts that I'm making fun of in this scene, I want to bring this back and say that Christopher Lee was fantastic, just because he truly was a great. But anyways, back to this, and he doesn't even try to hide it.
There they are.
What? He doesn't
There
need to
they
hide it.
are.
He's the
No.
king.
They are mine. They belong to me.
What you gonna do? Nothing.
The Red Bull gathered them for me one by one, and I bade him drive each
He's
one
such a sadist.
into the sea.
He is. You're right. 100%. He's totally a sadist. The way he just goes about this whole thing, you know. He's like, let me torture you. I'm getting off on this. Like, and you know he's getting off on it.
I'm gonna torture you, and also, like, the unicorns, I can see them get just to the step, and they dare not come out of the foam for fear of the Red Bull, and he gets off on it!
He totally does! He does! You're right, 100%. He totally gets off on it. He's just like, that's just, ooh. Oh, yeah. You can't come out of that sea!
He's a sadist. He's not a good dom, but he's a sadist.
Yeah, he's a terrible dom, but as a sadist, he got it down. He got it down. All right, so continuing forward with that, you know, we're breaking these scenes up a tiny bit here.
Now they live there, and every tide carries them within an easy step of the land, but they dare not come out of the water. They are afraid of the Red Bull. I like to watch them.
That scene, right? That moment right there where he's like, I like to watch them.
I love the water. It's so awesome.
I like to watch them come within an inch of the land and be absolutely terrified to come out. Oh, what that does for me. Oh. Sorry, wait. That's whew. Got the vapors now.
Wow. But then after that,
Akuma, I need an adult.
Sorry, man. Sorry. We're the adults now, and it's
Right?
terrifying.
The first time I felt it, I thought I was going to die.
Interesting that he feels like the first time he felt joy, he was gonna die.
When he was a kid.
Yeah, but notice that's the first time he felt the feeling. I'm going to draw a parallel here really quickly, because the first time Amalthea feels feelings, she says, I can feel my body dying.
Right?
Like, I mean, did anybody else, like, did anybody else see that parallel, or is it just me? Like, because I find that really interesting. He is without feeling, and she was without feeling, and both times that either one of them ever felt feelings, they both were like, fuck, I'm dying!
This is awful.
What the fuck is this
Right.
feeling shit? I don't want to feel shit. I'm fucking dying if I feel things.
But it's interesting because hoarders do something similar where it's either they have to keep things to feel safe, to ease their anxiety, and he's literally hoarding the thing that made him happy or feel like he was on the brink of dying or orgasm, whatever it was. He has to hold it and keep it close
Right.
to him.
Do you ever wonder if he's just a big fan of edging?
Could be, yeah. He's edging all the unicorns, and they are not happy about it.
He's like, right there, right there, right there, that's it, don't stop, stop!
No, you can't come out of the water. Back.
Oh, you're so excited, stop! You guys knew this part of the stream was eventually coming. You didn't think we were gonna get through this whole stream without really running it down, right? Like, you guys had to know it was getting here eventually. I'm proud of us. Right, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us. We've done very good up to this point. We didn't even talk about how much the castle looks like a fucking dungeon.
We did talk about the motorboating
Dendrophile tree,
for a
yeah.
while.
And how she looks like a giant penis and balls. And then wraps her little branches around and makes the vagina so she's thrusting through herself. So anyway, back to our scene.
I said to the Red Bull, I must have them. I must have all of them, all
Then
there
after-
are. For
oh, wait a
nothing
minute,
makes me
We're still here.
happy. But their shining and their grace.
So I find it really interesting. This is one of the things I do find interesting about Haggard, is he truly does admire them.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear it in, yeah, that ass. That's right. He admires that ass. He does, actually, that's Lear. We're going to get to that. He does truly admire them. Their shining, their grace. He actually does feel something for the unicorns. But he doesn't know how to express that feeling in any other way than essentially holding them hostage.
Like he is everything else in the castle.
Right. Including Lear. But, you know, beside the point.
So the Red Bull caught them.
I also want to point out that today, if this was redone, this scene would be a lot sadder than it is.
Mm-hmm.
The music's just not quite right for this scene. Just throwing that out there.
Each time I see the unicorns, my unicorns, it is like that morning in the woods, and I am truly young in spite of myself.
Oh! Sorry.
And then
he got a little excited.
You are the last.
My lord, I do not understand. I see nothing at all in the water.
Imagine she's thinking, what the
Still
fuck, the whole
deny yourself.
Right. And he gets really angry here.
Dare still pretend to be human.
This is when he's like, I can't see myself in your eyes, right?
I'll hurl you down to the others with my own hands if you dare deny yourself.
What are you saying?
It must be so. I cannot be mistaken.
I will
Yet
throw you off of this if you deny your own nature.
Your eyes have become empty as Lear's, as any eyes that never saw unicorns.
I love how sinister the music gets here.
Makes no difference. I can wait. The end will be the same. I can wait.
He can wait. He's great at edging. He can wait. I can wait. I can wait. It makes no difference. I can wait. Let me wrap my cloak around myself, because I can wait. No.
The edging master.
So, he does, though, right? Like, he gets so angry when he realizes he can see her. He's his own reflection in her eyes. And he doesn't like the fact that she keeps telling him that she can't see the unicorns anymore. She doesn't know that they're there now.
Because she's losing her own magic and becoming more human.
Right. And she's becoming more... And I blame Prince Lear and his terrible singing. That was her moment she lost all hope. She was like, oh, fuck, this is what I've been relegated to. A life of this travesty. Oh my god. Please save me. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Another interesting thing is, like, through the whole thing, he refuses to touch Amalthea. He's like, I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to touch you. And it's explained more in the book that if you touch a unicorn, then you're dispelled to the unicorn.
Oh, so you're kind of like
totally
charmed.
in love with it. Yeah, you become charmed. But I think he touches her there.
He does, but you know who touched her before that?
Lear touched her.
Yeah, Lear touches her way back at the beginning. And then Lear falls madly in love with her.
Like stupid love, but yeah.
Yeah, like schoolboy love. Like, I know nothing about you, but you're the perfect woman kind of love.
Right.
Doesn't Schmendrick touch her?
But he's also a magical being in Immortal Alley.
But you know who else touches her? Is Molly Grew.
And she's just totally...
But Molly's in love with her from the beginning.
Right, like she's horn-whipped.
Yeah, Molly's totally horn-whipped. So, yeah. Which, you know, this could explain a lot of the, like, intercodependency that they all have amongst each other. I didn't know this because that's part of the book. That wasn't explained in the movie. So that's an interesting point to bring up because I wouldn't have actually latched onto that particular problem. That, you know, she kind of charmed all of them into liking her to protect her or her secrets or whatever, you know. Oh, if you love me, don't tell people what I am. Fuck, I don't know. Like...
Then from this...
I mean, like, every time I get to this... Like, every time I get to the end of this movie, I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch?
And then from here we go to the kitchen and the pirate cat.
Pirate
cat gives,
Pirate
now that we know where the unicorns are, now it's how do we get to the Red Bull and set them free, and the pirate cat is the mechanism that lets Molly Grew know the whole,
whole passageway clock talk to the talking head.
Yeah, it's like, it says the king's way to the Red Bull. When the wine drinks itself, when the skull speaks, and when the clock strikes the right time. Molly gets really mad at the cat. She's like, why the hell do you just speak in riddles? Why can't you just tell me what I need to know? And he's like, 'cause I be what I be.
'Cause I be what I be, and that be a pirate cat, yar.
And then purr there.
I mean, I can purr so much better than that cat. I'm just saying.
But then the movie starts to pick up quickly after that, because then they do cut to...
yeah, because at this point I feel like the animators and the scriptwriters realized that they were just dragging on and on and on and getting nowhere with this movie, because by this point you're just kind of like, alright, I'm losing interest, because there's not been any craziness. And so then we get to this lovely mechanism.
Shut up, you pretentious kneecap! How'd you like a punch in the eye?
The skull.
You made it laugh anyway.
Which, the skull wasn't terrifying to me until the end, when he's like, Unicorn, Haggard! Unicorn!
Yeah, that's when he's terrifying.
You can
Until then, he's just humorous.
It worked.
The skull used to be Haggard's right-hand man, but when Haggard was trying to see if being a dick made him happy, he just killed the skull. Like, he just killed this person.
Right. So I'm skipping ahead, like, bits and pieces on this as we go through the skull.
I mean, he's been dead for a long time, and he just finds this completely amusing to him.
Maybe I'll tell you tomorrow. Did you say wine? Speak up.
I couldn't find any. I looked everywhere.
Like this scene because when the wine drinks itself is kind of an interesting little riddle because he can't drink anything.
Right? The wine, but I remember.
Right, so he goes on to, like, that whole, like, just give me the wine, just give me the wine, just give me the wine, and of course, Schmendrick does his, like, you know, hocus pocus. Which really he's just muttering to himself.
Hey, do it over here. I can't see a
Schmendrick just
thing.
drinks all of it. Honestly, gives him an empty flask.
Yeah.
Give it to me if you don't want it, but don't.
And you want to talk about being, like, an alcoholic. Give it to me!
Right?
Give it to me if you don't want it, I'll take it. I don't care if it's weak wine, I just want the alcohol.
I want it, it's so good. But also it speaks to how clever Schmendrick is, because he figures it out.
He does.
Of what's happening, and he's like, here you go, here's an empty flask, enjoy.
Right.
After you tell us the way.
The way is through the clock.
See, just go through the clock, mate. That's it, that's all you gotta do.
That clock will never strike the right time.
That
You
clock
just
is actually
walk through it,
terrifying.
And the Red Bull is on the other side. Give me the wine.
He wants it
Time, a
so
clock
bad.
isn't time, it's just numbers and springs. Pay it no mind.
Well, he's been
Just
dead.
walk right
And
on
Haggard's like
through
denied him all this shit.
wine now.
Just a glutton. I love how the skull blushes, by the way.
Right?
That was the real.
I mean,
I like how it has facial expressions.
yes, it has facial expressions and it blushes. I know I've got no room to logic this because it's an animated cartoon, but still, come on, guys. So, they make this mad dash here now that they've tricked the skeleton into telling them what they want to know. But this is where we get to the next scene that really, truly terrified me.
Unicorn!
This.
Haggard! Unicorn!
Like, I don't know if it was the music in this scene, or if it's just his red eyes, or the way they focused on just enough of his facial expressions to make him look angry, that really just drove home, like, the scene, and the fact that it just terrified me as a kid.
Right.
Like...
And the skull is like, you know, I'm a dick, but I'm not that big of a dick. Haggard, there's a fucking unicorn. You need to get the unicorn.
Right! Like, go take care of it right now, Haggard, because it is about to destroy everything. It's on its way to the Red Bull. It's about to get its wings and become an alicorn.
Because Red Bulls give you wings.
Exactly.
Ping. And then her name becomes Twilight Sparkle and not Amalthea.
No. Now we know how Twilight got her sparkle. Now she becomes Celestia.
Okay.
You know. That's what Amalthea becomes. Well, nah, she's not purple. She can't be Nightmare Moon. She's gotta, you know, she's gotta get her cutie mark, you know, big ol' sun. You know, I don't know. How did we get on My Little Pony? Oh, this is my fault. I started that a while back. Anybody else notice this? Just gonna throw it back really fast. You're gonna go back and look at Unicorn Amalthea for a second. She looks like a My Little Pony. The way they drew her, she's got that, like, My Little Pony look, even, like, back then. Like, she has the modern My Little Pony look.
Yes, she has the modern Celestia.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like the, not so much Twilight Sparkle or, like, the whole friendship gang.
No, but she really does have, like, the modern Princess Celestia kind of look.
She does. Who
Just-
animates My Little Pony?
I don't know who the animation studio is. I don't think. I mean, I never checked.
I'll put it in the YouTube video. Research.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
later.
You get from there, and they go down the clock in the stairwell, which kind of takes them through like this sort of like interdimensional time space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it does that really weird, like,
fog.
Yeah, like that really weird. I don't know if it's in this scene. I don't know what scene this is. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I love. I heard what you said.
Oh God. I love whom I love. Okay, you know what? It's time. It's time. I gotta make this joke. So I've been holding on to this joke all night long. Akuma knows it's coming. Yeah. So they're sitting here talking about how she's gonna turn back into a unicorn, and Prince Lear is like, "I love who I love. It doesn't matter to me." Your body is prepared. So as we'll harken back to the never-ending story when we were talking at the very end about Artax, and I was like, fuck that horse, and then I went, well, maybe, and everybody was like, nah. I would just like to point out, at this moment in time, this line...
Love whom I love.
Is Prince Lear saying he gonna fuck Amalthea whether she a horse or a person. Just saying. Just saying. That's happening. Also, this is a really bad cut.
I heard what you said. I will go no further. There's no choice.
Right,
you have to go on. Don't let him change me.
Don't let him change
me. He has no care for human beings. We may walk out past him and get away. If we do
She
that,
doesn't want to do
all
the
of
hard
the unicorns
thing.
of the world will remain.
She doesn't. She doesn't want to do the hard thing. Don't turn me back. I don't want to have to do the thing. I don't want to do the thing. I don't want to do. Right now, I can walk past him and get away. Don't change me back.
And then Lear's like, no.
Right? Lear's like, but I need my sweet horse lovin'.
Prisoners forever except one, and she will grow old.
I don't quite think that was his motivation for that, but...
Fair enough.
I'm human, and I love you.
I love you. Let me profess my love now. I love you. I love you. I'm not a magical creature. Please don't change me back.
Let him.
I won't love you when
Lear,
I'm a unicorn.
I will not love you when I'm a unicorn. Amalthea, don't. That is my wish. No.
Oh, a terrible wish. My wish is to marry the prince and live happily ever after. Yes, Akuma, she went from I don't talk to you, scrub, to I'm yours. Literally. You know what it was? Yeah. She just didn't want him touching her while she was a unicorn. She was like, nope, you keep that man meat to yourself. Unless I'm a human.
But now that he can rescue her, it's like, no, please rescue me. Please enable me. Yes, Denver Bear Hunter, that is absolutely correct. She did say, that is a beautiful, beautiful question. That earlier, you know, she was like, there's nothing in your kingdom that I want. But that's not true, because now there's something in his kingdom that she wants. To save her from doing the hard thing.
Yes. She want that sweet, sweet Prince Lear to save her from doing the hard thing. Actually, I mean, isn't that doing the hard thing?
Also, in this particular scene, Molly is like, Schmendrick, you don't have to change your back. You don't. And then it's like, oh, but you have to now.
Schmendrick, who she got super mad at for turning her into a human to begin with.
Right, and he's like,
she's so hot and cold.
I told you back.
Like, where is it? Oh, wait, this is like, hold on. I skipped ahead a bit here.
The happy ending cannot come in the middle of the story.
She looks so shocked.
Now, once she becomes a unicorn, the Red Bull knows who she is and appears.
Right. Exactly.
This cut doesn't show where Prince Lear gets in the way and then gets trampled.
Right. It skips over that to show the part where she gets her balls back and she learns to fight and she drives the Red Bull into the sea because that's somehow perfect irony.
Well, now the ocean will become his prison, just like it's the unicorns' prisons.
Right, exactly. Let me heal you.
She will remember your heart when men are fairy tales and books written by rabbits. Of all unicorns, she is the only one who knows what regret is. And love.
Ugh. Of all the unicorns, she's the only one who knows what regret is. And love.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh! So much sap. It's too much sap for me.
Because there never was a unicorn that regretted.
That never
and
was.
regrets.
No. I am the only one of my kind who will ever know what regret is.
Right, Akuma? I feel like the Red Bull just stopped caring, like, I'm due for retirement in 2 weeks, and I know how this ends.
Right? The Red Bull doesn't even really fight back. Like, he fights so hard to drive her to Haggard's castle. I really feel like he was like, bitch, I just gotta get you to the castle so I can GTFO. I'm really tired of this gig.
Right?
Like, he wasn't driving her there because he was trying to drive her into the sea. He was driving her there so he could get the fuck out. He was like, I'm so over this guy.
Well, it's almost like back to the never-ending story when Bastion finally stood up to the bullies. At the end, they ran away.
Right.
And went into the dumpster.
Right, they jump in the dumpster. Exactly. So, this is the final scene here. Where she comes back to see Schmendrick and Molly.
As you always wished. Does it make you happy?
Well, men don't always know when they're happy, but I think so. And you?
I'm a little afraid to go home. I have been mortal, and some part of me is mortal yet. I'm no longer like the others. For no unicorn was ever born who could regret.
I like how they drew her here in this moment. Did you notice that they kind of draw her here with this, like, sadness? Her head is down. She's, like, got these kind of droopy eyes. And even, like, the angle of her mouth, if we look at where I pause it, it's kind of a weird spot. But even the angle of her mouth has got that kind of, like, sadness curve. And yes, Akuma, I think you're right. The bull was like, he keeps talking to me weird when I keep them in the water at the edge for some reason. That's right, my bull. That's right. Keep them right there. Ah, that's a good bull. That's a good bull. Oh.
Give me wings!
Yes, yes, let me stroke my nose. Yes. You know, I don't know if our avatars are more terrified at the movies that we show or just the shit that comes out of my mouth. Let's be honest.
Wow.
Alright, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Let's...
But now I do. I regret.
I am sorry. I have
She also regrets, Akuma. It's okay.
done you evil, and I cannot undo it.
No. Unicorns are in the world again. No sorrow will live in me as long.
Also, I'm gonna point this out because it just dawned on me. The mark on her forehead is literally Twilight Sparkle's cutie mark.
It is.
Just saying. Just saying.
Is that joy? Save one. And I thank you for that part too.
Maybe she's Twilight Sparkle's mom.
Farewell, good
Ooh.
magician. I will try to go home.
She gets it on with that sweet, sweet purple unicorn somewhere?
Maybe.
Or maybe... Oh, wait. Maybe it's Prince Lear's sweet, sweet unicorn.
I was thinking it, I just wasn't gonna say it.
Because we all know I'm gonna say it, no matter what. If it's a thing.
Movies,
Yes, she does change size throughout the movie. You're right. Like, they have a really hard time keeping her size consistent as a unicorn. Like, she's big, small, big, small. And she's kind of small here at the end of the movie. So, you know, one of the things that we promised you guys that we would do between last session and this session was come up with our TMTTU trauma scale for movies. We kind of were bad and didn't really hash it out. But in terms of trauma, honestly, I would give this movie a 3.
Yeah, it wasn't so much. I think our rendition was more traumatizing.
I do. I think the way we talked about the movie as a 3 out of like 10.
Right.
3 out of 10. It's really not that traumatic. Like, it has its moments. Like, the Never-Ending Story was definitely like a solid 8 out of 10 when it comes to trauma. Like, it had really good but I think that we really actually, like, made this movie way more traumatizing the way we broke it down than... Yes.
Quill doesn't seem scary from a child. More so just illustrative. Yeah,
I can't disagree with that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, as a kid... This movie, like, you gloss over a lot of the things that might be trauma. Like, you can recognize the scenes that are scary, and those are the scenes that traumatized us, right, as kids. But we don't think about them because a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie, those scenes are short, they're spread out, they're very far apart. And they're always followed up, actually, by a really, like, kind of high, uplifting scene, whether it's a very poor musical number. That, now, to me, is just traumatizing. Yeah.
Like nails on a chalkboard.
Right. Your movie versus watching it destroyed you, Akuma. You didn't remember anything except the beginning song and the happy ending. I repressed everything else. Yes! Right! And that's trauma at work, right? That's trauma at work. And again, you know, just like the Never-Ending Story, as you guys will recall, when we broke that one down, the way we talked about the ending is that you forget about all the traumatic things that happened, because what you're left with is that final moment when everything is happy. You're left with that final upbeat song, you're left with that final motion of how she's gonna go back to all of her people and everything is fine, and it's okay that she learned to love and regret. And Schmendrick has become a magician, and he's with Molly Grew, and she's happy because she got to meet a unicorn, and all of these good things are just thrown at you in kind of sequence.
I will point out, like, this isn't a true happy ending, because her and the prince don't get together. Their whole star-crossed love thing never happens. They just... It just fades away.
You know what, I'm pretty
sure... love that you have in high school, it just...
I'm pretty sure there's fanfic out there that says the opposite.
We're not getting into Rule 34.
I'm not even talking about Rule 34. You know, I'm just talking about general fanfic. I'm pretty sure it says different. Just say it.
I didn't read the fanfic. I just read the book.
I mean, I'm not... Anything goes with fanfic. You're right. It's because Lear probably got with Schmendrick in the fanfic. It's the Kirk and Spock all over again.
Or, you know, the Molly Grew action went in there. Who knows? They had a 3-way.
I mean, maybe Molly Grew got her some sweet unicorn horn. I don't know.
That's possible. She did.
Lear X Pirate Cat X Unicorn. Yes, I love you, Akuma. We already have a Futa tree and source material. That's right, Chillquill, we do. So, you know, but I also am going to say, so I give this movie really 3 out of 10 in terms of trauma. But I'm also going to say this movie did not age well. Where the Never-Ending Story aged well, this story does not age well. The story maybe, okay, I can say maybe the story ages a little well. If you don't mind, like, the cis-het norm, like, relationship status quo thing, like, gotta have your happy ending, prince gets the princess kind of thing, but not really. But, like, the movie did not age well. And I don't even know if you retold this story modern, if we updated the animation, updated the musical numbers, updated the character drawings and depictions, if they would be any better. The only thing that aged well with this movie, honestly, is the animation style. I am really a big fan of hand-drawn animation.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the animation in this movie. That's one of the few things that I really like about this movie. The animation in this movie is really spot on.
The animation is beautiful. The screenwriting, Reading the book was a lot like just watching the movie in your mind. However, it does explain a whole lot more. Like those big gaps where you're like, what the fuck happened to the rest of the story? It's in the book.
You know, the Chillquill, you're right. I like your statement there. I think it was made for its time and it's not to be adapted otherwise. It adds to character. The animation took enough liberty to be unique. I agree with you. The animation did take a lot of liberties to be unique. The animation was really the most beautiful thing about this. Not so much the story, not so much the the songs.
No, Mia Farrow and Jeff Bridges do not
should not sing. But I mean, yeah,
No.
yeah, no. It's like a cat singing in the alley.
Oh God.
But they really the animation is beautiful, and I will give it that. I mean, that's my takeaway on that one. I think the animation is in and of itself a beautiful piece when it comes to this movie. But this movie definitely has its trauma moments. You know, the harpy eating Mama Fortuna was just, that was intense as a kid. That was probably the most terrifying thing for me. And then there's just other things that were scary. The lightning, the skull, the weird fucking booby tree. That's way more terrifying as an adult because I noticed things about it that I wish I hadn't noticed and now I can never unsee. So, you know, and I'm so sorry that I traumatized all of you with that by pointing it out because that's just who I am.
Welcome to the movies that traumatized us.
And if they didn't traumatize you before you came here, they're gonna traumatize you now. And I'm so sorry. As a trauma-informed therapist, I should know better than to give you vicarious trauma, but hey.
You knew what you signed up for when you clicked on the stream.
You know, and that's just it, Denver Bear Hunter. I think that's a good point. I think the first time you saw it was, Denver Bear Hunter said the first time they saw it was as an adult and it disturbed them. And I agree with you. I think as an adult, this movie is a lot more disturbing than it is as a child. As a child, you don't see all these little middle ground themes, right, that are happening. As a child, you see the animation, you see the unicorn, you see the wizard, you see the happy ending. All is great. Everything else is sort of middle road. The first time I saw this movie, I was 10. And then I didn't see it again until my 20s. And then I didn't watch it again until we watched it to do this presentation. And I think, yeah, it was way more traumatizing when we watched it to break it down than it was ever as a child. That's just my take.
Added a lot of other things.
I don't know about your take, Nikki. What's your take on that as we wrap up here?
I think, as a kid, I remembered the harpy was terrifying. Like, that scene was terrifying. And it was like the colors of his unicorn. Ooh, yay, Prince gets the girl. Not really, like you were saying. I watched it 2 years ago. Since, watching it as a kid, I was like, I remember that differently. But all right. And then now we watched it again for this, and it was, okay, the tree and the bird. Yeah. And I think that's what Akuma really was pushed on too, is that like so much of it just was not remembered from when they watched it, right? That it was like there's just so much repression. Like, remember the beginning of the movie, remember the ending, don't remember all of the shit that happened in the middle, because it's very disjointed and it's very dysfunctional. And you don't remember the awful singing. No, I totally forgot about the terrible musical numbers. Mm-hmm. I really did. They added to my trauma. I mean, if I was just rating the trauma scale based on musical numbers, I would give this like a 9 out of 10. Because that music was fucking terrifying. Especially when the audio gets warped and it's like... And I'm like... Right. And I'm not talking about like the America singing The Last Unicorn, because that was actually, I thought, pretty good musical number, as well as Walking Man's Road. Those were both sung by America. But the character numbers, no. Yeah. We're just talking about the character numbers that were done by Mia Farrow and Jeff Bridges. Nothing against Mia Farrow and Jeff Bridges. Just the lyrical prose for these songs was not in their favor. That's all I have to say about that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead. What's up next? I know. I'm just curious. I haven't checked to see if anybody's dropped anything in the suggestion box tonight, but I will check it after.
As you guys know, there's a suggestion box down below in the About sections. If you click on those and check the plaques and see what we've got down there, please feel free to drop any movies that you want us to check out and do. We have discussed doing some movies that are themed around certain times of year, so we'll be looking at doing those as we approach those times of year. But that's kind of why we picked The Last Unicorn also for this one, because it's kind of a love story. It's kind of February, Valentine's Day. Jesus Christ, I just want to go back in time and forget this ever happened, apparently. Or I want to fast forward. I'm not really sure which at this point in time. And my brain is like, God, did we really just do this movie? We did. So anyways, that being said, we do have the suggestion box down below. Please give us a like, give us a follow, and leave us a suggestion. We would greatly appreciate it. I'm Sarah. This is Nikki. And these have been the movies that traumatized us and The Last Unicorn. We hope you guys really enjoyed it tonight. We had fun, as always, doing the presentation for you. And we will see you in 4 weeks with another movie.
It will be March 11th.
Will it be March 11th?
Yeah, because...
Excellent.
20 days in February.
Nice, nice. So, hey, guys, we'll be back on March 11th. And we will have a new movie then.